Hello and welcome to the midway point of our GT World Challenge presented by Sim Racing GP. I'm your host M.Vowles as always, and today we are in the rising sun of Japan at the lovely Suzuka circuit. The guys are out on track as we speak into free practice, so we'll head our way over to there. As always, hopefully we should have a good hard race on us, as we have had now for the last couple of races, so let's see if it continues today. Let's see Alex Lafros with his new livery. First time this livery has been out on track. So we do have 8 drivers at the moment in server. Hopefully we might have a couple more. Either way, today is going to be a hard, long race. As we see Cal's just come out of pit lane. I'm going to switch the cameras over to have a look. So we see Celine Rich, our current championship leader, in front of him there. Again, this is only in free practice, so lap times are not important at the moment. It's just getting his feet bedded in to the track. We have a Miss Natalie Leash come to join us today. That's good to see her back. Had a couple of weeks off. You see Cal here from 420 Motorsport in the Mercedes. They're a bit late down turning, gone onto the gravel. Looks like he's finding a hell of a lot of understeer there. We'll have to keep an eye out and see how that progresses for the rest of the event. I'll look over to the big heavy boy of Mr. Kenner Step in the Camaro. Again guys, I do have the chat open. Do feel free to come and say hello. Just checking my details on my end. So our next round will be at Snetterton. Very awkward, very technical track. So we'll have to see how our drivers get on through that awkward track next week. But this is the halfway mark. So this is round 6 of 12. We'll have to keep that soon, and we'll have a look at the standings very quickly. So it is Celine Witcher in her Aston Martin up front with 118 points from Heike Sherman with 85. Jaroslav Galkov in his McLaren, he's on 61 points. Stephen McAfee, he's on 60 points, so just behind. Natalie Lee, she was up near the front, she's dropped down to 5th with 40 points. Kenna Step on 34. Alex Lafros on 14, Callum McLeod on 10 points, Chris Generelli on 10, and Wouter van Berk on 6. The other drivers, unfortunately, have not been able to make any events so far, so we'll see how they get on when they show. But we will have a look back over at the live circuit. Camaro should be at full chat coming along there, near enough. Got a very good grunt to this car, so it should do nicely along that back straight. As Jaroslav Galkov puts a new fastest lap in. That was 4 thousandths of a second, yeah, 4 thousandths of a second faster than Celine's time. As we actually see him here in his McLaren. But again, these times don't really matter. What matters is their qualifying and race times. Again guys, do feel welcome to say hi in the chat. We do have it open. So guys, just getting warmed up now, just getting their first few laps in. I say guys, there is two ladies with us as well, Miss Celine Witcher and Natalie Lee. For one person who does need to focus, he has said he's not been focusing properly and not had a couple of days off just to get himself refocused, is Mr. Heiko Sherman, who is our current two-time European champion. Obviously Tony Crouch is our first US champion. So we are looking at Cal is off circuit. We'll have a look where he is. He's just come to rest in exit of turn 1, turning the car off. Alex Lafros looking good, 215.4 for him. So just over 1.2 off the leaders at the moment. But for his lap times, that is looking very sharp. But we'll have a look over at Miss Natalie, who we haven't seen for a little while. As Joseph Galkov puts a new fastest time in. So at the moment we have actually the two turn 1 Valkyrie cars line astern, with Miss Natalie Lee behind Celine Witcher. Again, Celine is our current points leader. Do apologise, I just need to have a drink there. As you can tell, I am unwell again. So I do apologise for the audio coming from my end. I am trying to get someone to come and join me in the commentary box for the GT European season for next year. I'm also looking at if anyone would like to host and do the broadcast for the GT America series. So I'm looking for a company or two people who are willing to take over the stream. Obviously I will be able to give you all the information for the YouTube channel for it to be posted to, and also I will be able to get you ACC TV, what is our broadcasting system that we use for this. They give us the lovely track overlay systems, the cameras that are unique to this, and also, as you can see, the lovely overlays that we also use for your positions and timings. Jaroslav Galkov still pushing, trying to extend his best time. Currently down on his time from what I can see on my timing sheet. As he dives his way into pit stop. Very smart, using this time to learn where the pit line is. As Heiko Sherman turns around and says, I have had some practice now, boys. I'm back. Comes in with a new fastest time. Only 1,000th of a second faster than Jaroslav Galkov. Both in the 2:14.1s. We'll have a look. Over back to Celine Witcher, our current point standing leader. Heiko Sherman's going to try to be digging back at that lead, if not even hopefully claw it back to our last round. Will be one hell of a fight, hopefully. But we will have to wait and see how that pans out. Just got up to 1:20 remaining in the session. So the session will automatically go over into qualifying as soon as we have finished the session. Whilst that happens, we will flick over onto a different overview. Bloodwolf, hello, welcome. Hope you have a good race there. If you're wondering who Bloodwolf is in chat, guys, that is Alex Lafros' car 243, running one of the Mercedes AMGs. So the front group now, all top three, all in the 1:14.1s. Very, very tight group there. Celine just pulled it back to the pits. So we've got a couple of cars now on circuit. This will be Natalie's final time in free practice. We'll have a look over at Heiko Sherman. He is our current champion, current fastest in free practice as well. So this will be his last lap. I don't believe he'll get across the line before the timer ends. The timer has ended as he literally just crossed as he crosses the line. So, only cars out on track who are valid is Miss Natalie Lee. So, as soon as Natalie crosses the start-finish line or dirties her lap, we will be going over into qualifying. Guys have a 20-minute qualifying session. And then we'll be going into our 1-hour race with a mandatory pit stop. So, we'll stick on with Natalie now. And then we will switch over to our track info, so you can see the overview of the lovely Suzuka circuit here in Japan. Do apologise if you just heard that notification coming through on my PC. Keeping the lap nice and clean. Let's see what other cameras we have today. So this is the cockpit view from the KTM. Very awkward cockpit. One of the ones with the most funniest doors, where the whole front of the car, the roof, lifts off. But as she comes across the line, we'll head over to our track info. So as you can see, we are using the full circuit here today at Suzuka. Not the east, not the west circuit, but the full circuit. Everyone is currently sat in pit lane, waiting to go out. It's got a slight little cloud cover out there. Track is in optimum conditions. 26 air temp, 34 track temp. So a bit warm on the track side, but that's a good thing. Hopefully it'll make our drivers commit and push that a little bit more as we now heading over into qualifying. So we'll head back over to the track as the cars are rolling out of pit lane as we speak. So as you can see, everyone is on a out lap. There's a few still in the pit lane. So look back from Natalie Lee's roof cam, looking back there at Cal. So as the drivers come across to start their first laps, we'll change the car information to their qualifying best. So in that sector will be their best times, and in the secondary we'll put their best deltas up as well to see if they're up or down on their lap times. So first car to start a lap will be Celine Witcher, also from Turn 1 Valkyries. So the girls look like they want to set the pace right at the start of this session. Steve McCaffrey and Heiko Sherman said both the two Porsches are still in the pit lane. Not gone out just yet on track. So Celine Witcher rolling up for her first lap now. So Heiko Sherman is now out of pits, just in front of Celine. So I wonder if he could play a little bit of devil's advocate here unfortunately give her a little bit of toe along that back straight, as his tyres are going to be cold. Again, GT4s do not have tyre blankets, so when they do come out of the pits, the tyres will be cold. Also, when they are coming out of the pits during their pit stop, during the middle of the race, again, they'll be coming out onto cold tyres. So they'll have to work that grip into the tyre. So early pit stops can work here. Also, so can late pit stops, depending on what your strategy you want to do. Myself, preferably, I would say I want a later stop, just so those newer tyres got a little bit more life in them at the end. But also, when people are coming out on those cold tyres, I can capitalise on that little bit of lap time I can gain. As you see, everyone is starting to get their first lap times in, their out laps. This is why they're staggered. But you got 4 minutes, you got 9 minutes. This is due to how long they were in the pits before the session ended on the previous sector as well. So we will look over to Celine Whitchurf, see how she's doing. Turn our autopilot system off on our cameras. So first lap in, this will be our first fast lap. Let's see what the lap time says for Celine Whitcher. 2:13.570 was our first flying lap. Natalie coming in with a 2:13.9. Looks like we're going to have a close one, guys. Joseph Galkov at 2:13.9 as well. As you can see, that all three of those drivers are also up on their lap time. Celine just hold it barely over. So grey time is equal. Red is slower. Green is up on the lap. The box will black out if the driver does invalidate their lap time. So, coming across the line as we speak right now is Mr. Ken Estep. Let's see what his first lap time is. One of the most nicest sounding GT4 cars is the Camaro. His lap time will put him fourth. It's a 2:18.1, so we can definitely see some more improvement coming out from Ken. Thought he's running a bit wide there. He's running the nice line for these GT4s. Alex Lafros showing us he's slow. I do believe that's because he's just come out of pit lane. No, do apologise. He is out on the lap. So this will be his first lap. 2:19.8 for him. But at the front here, lap times are coming in thick and fast. Heike Sherman at new fastest at 2:12.1. Celine does improve their time to a 2:13.5. But Heiko putting out a 2:12.187. Very, very fast time for a GT4 car around here. Natalie Lee is off track. So is Elle. They're both going back to pit lane. Let's look from some of our lovely cameras here at Suzuka. So as you can see, all the top three drivers are slower. Ken Estep and Alex Lafros are both up on their lap time. Alex Lafros up on his time by 1 whole second at the moment. This could put him into a battle with Ken. So guys, if you are in chat, make sure to pop in and say hi in the chat. We do have it open so we can talk to you. It must be nice. As Alex Lafros is coming down into the final bus stop. The Cuso Triangle, nearly 2 seconds up on his lap time. This will put him ahead of Mr. Ken Estep. His lap time is a 2:18.40, so only actually just in front of Ken Estep, who is also up on his lap time. So Heiko Sherman did find lap time 2:12.007 for him. Celine Richer did not improve that last lap. Last lap was a 2:14.1. Stephen McCaffrey in his Porsche, currently sitting in third. He's just started a clean lap. Unfortunately, dirtied his last lap. But there was no improvement on that last lap over his previous. Having a big slide in turn 1. And that would be another dirty lap for him. So currently he was staying in that P3 position. So Mr. Estep currently down in P8. But his lap time is going to put him at this moment ahead of Alex Lafros. We'll have to see. Hey Barney, nice to see you, buddy. I will jump over into that event later on. Bloodwolf, good to hear that you like your new livery. I worked late into last night. I think it was about 5:30 in the morning when I actually finished working on that livery for you. As we see, Mr. Ken Estep is going to push Alex Lafros, aka Bloodwolf, down into 8th to 17.652. Looks like most drivers are now actually on pit lane. Jaroslav Galkov, I did not expect him down into 5th place. He's been doing extremely well, leading at quite a lot of these races, and unfortunately then having issues. Either using up the tyre too early or having a couple of offs. So he will start his new fastest lap. He's coming out for his first one. Heiko Schumann, he's just dived into pit lane. So has Celine Witcher. So Stephen McCaffrey needs to have another clean lap. Is he going to come in for fresh set tyres and get back out there, or is he going to stay? He is going to stay out. He is going to put another set of distance on these tyres. Alex Lafros slow on track. Currently looks like he is spinning in the middle of the Dunlop corner. Very unusual to lose it coming up Dunlop. Get off circuit there for him. He needs to clean those tyres off. He will have some dirt on them that will be embedded. And we will look over at Jaroslav Galkov. He is up on his time at the moment. So we'll get on board of him. Currently 6 temps up. This will bring him right up the grid here. From 5th, this could be to put him into 2nd place. Very nice through the last. From that Cusco triangle. And that lap will put him up into P2 with a 2:13.260. So still a 1.2 second gap to Heiko Sherman in that Porsche. But Stephen McCaffrey, he's on a lap. Currently sitting at just enough to be very, very close to. Just needs to get a couple of more attempts. This will be enough for him to go into P3 though. Yep, P3. 1/10 off. We've taken P2, but it's Porsche, McLaren, Porsche, Aston Martin, KTM, Mercedes, Camaro, and Mercedes. So car 19, Natalie, she's rolling along the pit lane at this very moment. Mr. Kenny step. Just listen to the noise of that Camaro. Not taking the downshift through 130R. Not cutting the chicane on the inside, cutting the chicane on the outside. This will be Ken on an outlap. So Joseph Galkov is equaling his time at the moment. He needs to find, unfortunately, nearly a whole second. Looks like his time is going to be near enough identical. Joseph Galkov's best time, a 2:13.260. His last lap then, a 2:13.262. Nearly identical lap times to the third. Stephen McCaffrey though, look, he is up on his time. This will put him into second. And he does take second, a 2:13.205. 6,000ths of a second now, faster than Joseph Galkov. This is going to be one hell of a fight today. We do have Ken Eston and Heiko Sherman line astern here. Ken is on a lap though, but he is down on his time. Heiko Sherman, he's on an out lap. So Ken needs to not worry about Heiko behind him. Heiko is the car who's not on a lap. So he shouldn't impede. So as announced today on the Simpit live stream on Twitch, the dates are confirmed for GT America and GT Europe. GT World Challenge is getting rebranded to GT Europe for next season. So Season 4 will be starting on January 6th, same as GT America will be. The dates are confirmed, tracks are confirmed, they are locked in for next season. Sign-ups will start on the 1st of November. To join, you must be in the Discord. There will be a password to be able to sign up for the league. This is the fact that we can have everyone who is taking part in Discord. We will need you in there for the race briefings. Also, at the end of the races, I will be bringing you into the green room and then bringing you over into the live chat at the end of the race to have a nice interview with you and see how the winner from each race has gone on. So that will be something that we're introducing in next season for you, is that you will have the abilities to have an interview at the end of the race with your winner from each round, and also the champion from each season as well will also be interviewed. GT America, this is why I'm looking for staff to work that league, because the GT America League, yes, it is very late in the UK for me to do a broadcast, but also GT America, I will be competing yet again. I want to take the third place that I had in the championship and I want to make it first place this year myself. Again, I'm not valid for a trophy, I do believe, as a admin, but we will have to see if that will change. It's something I will have to talk to Mr. Sean Cole about. So, unfortunately, coming up to the end of the session, Stephen McCaffrey has dirtied his lap, and this will be his last lap. He will not get back around. And there we go. See, Mr. Terry Crouch, I will be eligible for a trophy. So, Terry, if you're not going to take part in GT America, I will be going for that trophy that you will be leaving there for me. Terry, I just have to win one. I already have 3 trophies from the Simpit Leagues. I have a off-road one and 2 ACC trophies from our Patreon races. Again, Patreon, if you want to take part in those, you can do. So Patreon, obviously, become Patreon of the Simpit. You'll then be able to come to our monthly events that we will hand out trophies for. But also, don't forget, all of our leagues we have trophies for as well. Terry, I know you got many, many more trophies of the Simpit guys. I do have, though, all my ones from real life, as well as all my martial arts ones and the BMX and all my years of doing those. Budgie, good luck. P2 on the grid, unless Jaroslav Galkov can improve. But unfortunately, he's not going to improve. Jaroslav Galkov is coming into pit lane, so it will be P2 on the grid for Jaroslav Galkov. Only car on track will be Heiko Sherman, so he will take today's pole position. Exactly that. Sorry, I was just about to say, Joe, your PC will have to make more than 3 laps. But as he said, Terry is not going to be running next year. He is going to be focusing on our iRacing leagues. So I will bring up our track info as Heiko Sherman is down currently 1 second on his lap time. So he will definitely not be able to improve. But that lap time, a 2:12.007 compared to Stephen McCaffrey's a 2:13.2. So a very, very big time there for Heiko Sherman. That will be the end of qualifying. So we'll head over into the track overlays as I get this set up for today's race. Yes, Terry, he did say he had no motivation, that's why he was struggling. And he had been putting in no practice, but apparently that has now changed, especially with that lap time from today. Because that is one hell of a improvement that he has done. But we'll head back over to the track, and we'll have a look at our current championship standings. As we said, Celine Witcher in first place with 118 points. Heike Sherman, 85 points, so quite a big gap, but not necessarily saying he is out of the championship just yet. Jaroslav Galkov, P3 with 61 points. Stephen McCaffrey, 60 points, so very tight between those two. Natalie Lee, with unfortunately her missing rounds, she's down on 40 points. Ken Estep on 34. Alex Lafros, who's with us tonight, it's the Bloodwolf in chat. He's on 14. Callum McLeod, who's not here today either. He's on 10 points. Chris Generelli, he's not here today. He's on 10 points as well. Rooter Van Murik, he's on 6 points. And then we have Denny Booth, Rennie Garcia, Olas Narkvist, and Cal L on 0 points. So, with Cal being on the grid today, if he's able to stick with the whole race today, he will gain some points. So he will move up on the championship. And we'll see how everyone gets on. I would say exactly that, Terry. I would say he's put in some a lot of practice today, especially those lap times. It's going to Budgie. Apparently he's going to beat you with his own setup. Oh, don't let that happen, Budgie. Push him hard. And we'll see how that goes. Exactly that. So we are just waiting for the countdown to go green. But we are on a full formation up, as always in these cars. So, first place, we've got Heiko Sherman. Second place, Stephen McCaffrey in his Porsche. So, both Porsches are up front. Jaroslav Galkov in his McLaren in P3. Celine Witcher in P4. P5 will be Natalie Lee in the one and only KTM. Cal out in his Mercedes will bring up P6. P7 will be Ken Estep in his Camaro, and bringing up the rear will be a Bloodwolf Alex Lafros in his Mercedes as well. So I expect the Mercedes to pull a little bit more on the line. They always do get a good run online, but we'll have to wait and see how that rolls out. So we're just waiting for the cars to drop off their jacks and then get rolling. Unfortunately, this is the downtime. This is where I like to bring you a little bit more information. So again, GT America and GT European leagues have been posted their information of what events they are doing and what tracks they are going to be at. So they will be in the Discord as well as they've already been posted today on the Simpit live stream for our Simpit Racing news. Cal L did not press drive in time. He is in the pit lane, so he'll have to start now from the pits on cold tyres. So our 6th place position will be started in 8th, but he will not be able to get going until the last car passes the end of the pit line. So the guys will be roughly in the middle of turn 1 and 2 as he's able to leave the pits. So that's going to be a big downfall for him. So we have Joe saying Heiko by 35 seconds. Heiko's only won one round so far. The rest of the rounds have all been won by Celine Witcher, who is down in 4th. We will have to see how that ends up. But I am going to bring up something into the channel very quickly. Just need to switch out which chats I am looking at. So bear with me one moment. So I now have a chat open myself. Give me one moment, guys. The cars are still rolling around. So, I'm going to put a poll up, guys. Who is going to take today's win? Will it be Heiko? Will it be Budgie? Will it be Celine Witcher? Or will it be Jaroslav? Heiko, they're doing everything he can do to get some heat in these tyres. Cars will be getting told to go too wide. Ooh. Bit of discussion going on in the chat over this. This should be a fun one though, guys. Jaroslav, look at Jaroslav, really putting the pressure there onto Heiko. Sitting literally in the back of the car. And we will have... Look, in 1 second, we will go over to the helicopter cam. But we are a go for round 6. Jaroslav Galkov has got a Liverpool here. And Budgie sticking around the outside. Contact between Jaroslav and Budgie. Budgie still falling backwards. Jaroslav getting a little bit more contact there. So I'll leave the poll open just for 1 more minute, guys. So, Steve McCaffrey down into 4th place. Celine Richard up into 2nd. Jaroslav Galkov is in 3rd. Had a little bit of contact with Budgie. I think if anything he hurt himself there. Maybe overheated his tyres with the slide. And maybe a little bit of front end damage onto that McLaren. So we'll have to see how that pans out over the rest of the session. I will close the poll now, guys. It does look like Heiko will take your votes and see how that is. But out front by 2.6 seconds is Heiko from Celine Witcher, who's got Jaroslav Galkov right behind. Jaroslav looking for the outside. Ooh. Joe said, I smell retaliation. Could there be a move from Budgie on Jaroslav that's going to make it a little bit sus between them? Ken Estep gets past Alex Lafros, but Alex Lafros gets straight back past Ken Estep in the background. It's a very close battle between them as well. As we're getting on board with Stephen McCaffrey, you can see just in that rear review mirror, that looming KTM. So even though this is the longest track in ACC by not by lap time, but just by the awkwardness of the layout itself, this does bring out some of the best racing on this track. Plus also, if you're looking for a endurance race, this actually has the biggest pits available in the game of 105 cars. Imagine 105 cars around this track. I've been there, I've done it. I can tell you now, it's nose to tail the entire way. Well, we're looking at Natalie Lee. She's fallen back just a little bit from these two now. Gaps have started to form. Hear that KTM's turbo. Exactly. You can fall into line, but the answer is you just fall into line and still have then issues. As Cal L, unfortunately, from starting from the pit lane, he's already caught up to Ken Estep and Alex Lafros. So it's going to be a long fight for Cal to get back up into the battles to hopefully gain some more points. But new fastest lap from Heiko Schirmer, a 12.8 from him to Celine's 2.13.8. So a whole 1 second faster for him. He's definitely going to be running away from the group here. So Ken Estep there, letting Cal through, knowing his fight's not with him. It's most likely going to be with Alex Lafros in front. But saying that then, Cal getting 2 wheels into the dirt. Not really what you expect from that position. Well, we look further up now as we see this group have calmed down, it looks like. All separating themselves a little bit. Saying that, Joseph Galkov is right behind Celine here. And you got the KTM of Natalie Lee right behind Stephen McCaffrey. So, just over 5 minutes gone into the first, and we're already having battles now, pretty much all over the grid. As Alex Lafros has got the other Mercedes here, of Cal L right behind him. This is going to be interesting through today's race. Cal definitely having a run there. Coming out of Spoon, coming down to 130R. Oh, these two being brave. Both running off track. Any lap time gain there from both of them, they will get warnings in game. Up in front, Joseph Galkov getting closer and closer to Celine. Heiko, he's already done a Heiko and he has pulled a 6-second gap to the chasing pack. So we see a couple of cars with their headlights on. It's not mandatory for this to have headlights on. It is a day race. Only nighttime and rain races is it mandatory to have your headlights on. This group is just not willing to split apart. All sticking very close. Natalie Lee got the run on Budgie here. Budgie with the dive into the hairpin. Very close to contact between those two. Has he... Oh, this is going to be one hell of a battle, guys. I can see this happening all race long. Joe is definitely on the Heiko bandwagon. Go Heiko, go. If anything, I want Heiko to come back. I want to make this a 5-car battle. Budgie up on the inside. Looking to get around Jaroslav. So look into that rear view mirror. Budgie there looking for the Cusco triangle overtake. Getting a bit loose though, this could bring Natalie Lee into it. Heiko Sherman a 212.5. Near enough on his qualifying pace already, and we are only 10 minutes into this race. Also, guys who are in chat, if you're also in the Discord, you can come into the green room in the race broadcast, and I can pull you up into the chat and have you alongside me in the commentary booth for a little bit if you would like. As we see Budgie again looking up the inside, but unfortunately not letting himself then get the run out the corner. Budgie goes off. That's let Natalie up the inside. So Budgie from 2nd to 5th, literally 10 minutes. This is going to be one hell of a battle. So for next season, we will also have our stewards in race chat. Hopefully we will be able to have 2 chats versions open. The broadcasters and then the stewards. Stewards be having direct comms to the drivers. So all drivers will need to be in the Discord call. As for driving, you can have your mics muted. You will be expected to have your mics muted. Not talking. Just listening to race control if race control need to give you any information. So Budgie having that dirt on his tyres, definitely falling back now. But saying that, then turn 1 just braking a little bit later in the Porsche. Looks like he's got the balance a little bit more better. So they get more stopped on time. Through here, he'll be very brave to go for an overtake through this part. Very tight battle now. Jaroslav Galkov just falling back into Natalie Lee and Stephen McCaffrey. Very, very close driving between these 3. But these 3 are battling very hard now. Celine Witcher pulling now 1.5 second gap to Jaroslav, so just pulling that edge away. Natalie Lee getting packed past Stephen McCaffrey, so they had a bit of an issue there. So Stephen McCaffrey absolutely buggering up the Cusco triangle. That could be the gap that Natalie needed now, just to focus on catching up to Jaroslav Galkov and getting past. We'll have to see. Also, new poll, guys. As we're at the halfway mark in this series, who takes the championship? Currently leading, as we said, Celine Witcher, then it's Heiko Sherman. Or do we have an outside winner? Let us know what you think. Celine Witcher now looking back from her car onto Jaroslav Galkov's McLaren. Gaps are opening up. Heiko now. Massive 11-second gap. He is gone in that Porsche. So all these drivers here now, it's very spread out. Cal L does look like he's trying to claw back into this group. I think he needed them to fight just a little bit more to be able to get the possibility of calling back in. So currently we have one vote in saying Celine. So if any more votes come in, we'll keep this poll open until the end of the race, guys, and see how this continues. Right, just gone through quarter the way through this race. As we see Alex Lafros and Ken Estet, they're in a battle together. Coming down to 130 between these two. Ken Estet looking to the inside. Thought about it, then made a secondary guess. Exactly that, Terry. I think he's been a bit too conservative with that judgment, but yeah. Ken doing racy things here with Alex Lafros. So we'll go back up front as we do see Natalie Lee does have Budgie closing back in yet again. And yes, Terry, I fully agree. Seeing Ken race and have someone to race with is absolutely great. When Ken gets stuck in, he really gets stuck in. Do you believe that's a false yet white flag for Ken? Fell a little bit back, but not too far. Yeah, second through fifth. This is where the battle is. Heiko, 13-second lead now. Already coming through the Cusco triangle. As Celine only halfway through 130R. Just showing his absolute dominance. So Heiko just crossed the line now as these guys are only just coming out of the Cusco triangle. Just shows how much of these not been battling has let Heiko just absolutely run away. Exactly, Terry. the thing is, if he's not gaining time, then there's no problems. Plus, also 130R, you want to use all that rumble strip on the outside of the corner because it all is track limits. To use it all and try to make the corner open as much as possible. I do believe Budgie might be on a couple of in-game warnings though. I'm not 100% sure what he's on. We will have to ask him and find out at the end of today's race. So you can see there, Celine Richard was all 4 tires off the track, but on the rumble strip, she was still inside of track limits there. You look away for 1 second and Heiko's already pulled another one. It's Heiko for you. Heiko is an absolute machine. When he gets dialed in, he's deadly. But just can he be the consistency that he has lost over a couple of rounds? He needs to find it and just keep clawing back now. He's going to need to win nearly every race now to have that chance of taking the win away from Celine. Where was this Heiko at 4 AM? Exactly. For him it was a 3 AM start when we were doing GT America for the first season. For me it was 2 AM starts. Do I get a trophy if Heiko wins by 35 seconds? No, Joa, you get to give yourself a reach round. So, arm from behind, between your legs, and have a tug that way. That's what you get for winning if he wins by 35 seconds. So, we're coming up to that pit stop window in a minute. And have a look at this. All 3, 3rd, 4th and 5th all now within 1 second of each other. This is where the battle is again. Let's see. Jaroslav Galkov goes wide. That's let both of them through. Jaroslav CL6 is saying no, he still wants that door. As the KTM of Natalie Lee runs wide. These two are still side by side. Budgie on the grass. Can he slow it down? No, he's gone wide. What is going on? So Jaroslav Galkov pulling away now. Let's have a look back from Natalie's view and see what we can see. So Budgie gets the run coming out of the corner. Jaroslav goes wide onto the gravel. Let's see what happens through here. She just runs a little wide, gets a little still early, and she loses it all on her own. So she loses it all on her own. And then we've got the battle between Stephen McCaffrey and Jaroslav Galkov. Budgie goes wide onto the grass, loses it. It's not able to stay up in time. So, lots of change there. Exactly, people losing their shit out there. I'm losing my shit commentating on this. Jaroslav really played Stephen perfectly. Let him fight, let him fight, let him fight. Last second, okay, you have that bit and you took too much. I'll then just capitalise and just take the corner nice and steady. But Stephen McAfee, no lie, it's all over the back of Jaroslav Galkov again. Natalie unfortunately 5 seconds back from these two now. Yes, definitely at this. Steve McCaffrey, look at the oversteer he's putting into this car. Definitely running a low. Yeah, eating biscuits, and Alex Lafros just come to a complete stop on circuit. Oh, what is going on here between these two drivers? So Alex Lafros and Ken Estep, they've had an incident. Bloodwolf goes for a little bit wide. Ken still's there. Oh, Bloodwolf gets a little bit loose and turns Ken. 100% a racing incident between them, but Bloodwolf, not wanting to take any type of advantage, just sits and waits for him to get back into the fight. Massive shame there for both of those two. But Bloodwolf, if you are listening, if you do have the stream open, I know you were talking earlier on. Nicely done for waiting. You didn't have to wait. It was literally a racing incident. You got loose and unfortunately just tagged Ken as you were sliding around yourself. But real gently move there to not gain an advantage from it. Cal L is into the pit lane. He is in time, so pit window is now open. Exactly that, Terry. Those two are racing each other all the way, and they're going to be racing each other to the end of the season, I can tell. So it was a really nice move from Bloodwolf there, just to hold back and just go, no, our battle is back here. Let's keep racing together. Let's have fun. Jarosov going a little bit too wide there. Can McCaffrey now take an advantage? Sticking his nose in. Oh, and maybe a little touch there. Potential warning for Jarosov Galkov. That would have been from the contact. So it didn't only realise that Jarosov had contact. It didn't realise that Stephen had the contact with him. Budgie getting all up in that Russian ass, isn't he? As Cal is now exiting pit lane. That's where he got the false negative from that yellow flag, then goes into the white flag. But it is Ken Estep in front of Alex Lafros now. He will have damage though from going into the wall. So we'll have to see how these two play out after the pits. But back up in front, it is Stephen McAfee still all over that back of that McLaren. Budgie's coming in early, so Budgie's saying no, I'm going to get out of this fight, get some fresh tyres on, and get back into it. So whilst they're doing this, I'm just going to check in-game. No penalties for through the pits for Cal. As we're going through the pits window, guys, I'm going to take a very quick break. Whilst I'm doing that, I will leave you with the track as it is. So I'm back in 1 moment's time. And I am back, guys. So, at the moment, Natalie Lee, Steve McCaffrey have finished their pit stop. Natalie gaining time through the pits on Budgie. So, Budgie definitely longer in the pit lane. But how long was Budgie in the pit? Budgie was in the pit stop for a total of 39 seconds. Natalie 35. Click into game. All clear on pit stops so far, so no mistakes on pits from either one. Terry, I'm reading that and it is what you think it is and what you're making it sound like. So, before the pit stops, Heiko Sherman is out in front by 21 seconds from Celine Witcher, who is our current series points leader. As we said, Heiko is current champion and has been now 2 times in a row. Can I step now into the pit lane? Is Alex Lafros following in? No, Alex Lafros is staying out. So Alex is going to see, can he use that clear air away from Ken just to see if he can get another lap out of him. So I'm just going to have a look over at the polls. 67% to Celine, 33% to Heiko. So that's 2 votes for Celine, 1 for Heiko to take this championship. We'll have to wait and see. Heiko there sliding a lot in turn 2. A lot of people will still call it whole turn 1. There is different variances depending on what map survey you are looking at, really. Looking back from Jaroslav Galkov, he has a very big lead, but again, from Natalie, but he still has not taken his pit stop. So we all are getting closer to the end of pit stops. Ken Estep showing the slow. That's because he is coming out of pit lane. Again, a false negative on that. But we are going to keep an eye on our leader. Heiko Schumann absolutely dominating this race. Where has this Heiko been for near enough the entire season? Last 2 races especially. This is the Heiko we know and seen for a long time. See if he can put it back together and hold this win streak now till the end of the season. He's going to need it if he wants to have a chance of taking the title. As Alex Lafros is now into the pits lane. So if you have a look at our current point standings, Celine 118 from Heiko on 85 points. So it does look like it's going to be the battle mainly between these two for our championship. As Heiko is diving into the pit lane as well. And Stephen McCaffrey has got past Natalie Lee. Natalie off in the wall. Nothing shown from my end of any contact. So she comes into Dunlop. Just gets loose on the rumble strip and puts it into the wall. That's a big shame for Natalie there. But all remaining drivers are now on pit lane. So, officially, Sleenwich is now in first just because of pit positionings. Jaroslav Galkov up into third. Second, but look, already on the move is Heiko Schumann. Heiko was stationary for 32.9 seconds. Would expect him to be a little bit quicker in the pits. A little bit slow on his actual stop time. Alex Lafros was stationary for 36.7. Ken Estep was stationary for 44.1 seconds. So there's definitely going to be a gap now between Alex Lafros and Ken Estep. But Ken Estep already putting it in, it looks like. So all drivers have now taken their pit stop, and the pit window has now just closed. We will go back into the game one last time. Everyone made their pit stop on time. No speed in the pit lanes from anyone. Was nice to see. Celine taking a little bit careful there now. Cold tyres, remember. So anyone who is taking part in our GT America series starting next season, how you're seeing today's race run is exactly what you're going to be doing next season. It will be a 1 hour race with a mandatory pit stop inside of a 10-minute window. Opens at 25 minutes into the race and will close at 35 minutes into the race. Obviously, you have your window on the top of the screen showing you that the pit window is open when it becomes valid, so you will be able to see it on there. If you do have no HUD like I do, you can change your race logic dashboard and it will tell you how long you are into your stint, and you can use that to judge your time that you have for your pit stop. So, Stephen McCaffrey is in fourth, chasing down Jaroslav Galkov. Natalie Lee, 12.5 seconds back now from Stephen McCaffrey. Another 12 seconds back to Cal. Alex Lafros and Ken Estep, obviously, they had their issue, held each other up for a bit, waited for the issue to be solved, and then got back going. But I can tell you now, our leader is catching up to Ken Estep and Alex Lafros. So, can Heiko have a play in Ken catching Alex Lafros, or is it going to give Alex Lafros that little bit of time to run away from Ken? Also, we are looking at hosting a charity event sometime in the future. One will be held here on ACC. It will be a multi-class event. It will have GT3s, GT4s as you've seen today, Porsche Cup cars, and the BMW M2 TCX car, what is now the slowest class in-game. So all 4 classes out on track at once, all having their own individual races. Also, don't forget there will be an overall race winner from that as well. So that we're looking to do that, but also looking to do the same in iRacing. So we don't know the classes that we'll do for iRacing. We don't know what we'll be doing for iRacing as of yet. We will be putting it through the test in ACC first. I will hopefully have some guys who also do have this broadcasting system. Maybe some of the guys from Low Fuel Motorsport, who are the guys behind ACC TV and also behind ACC Drive, to do the broadcast for us. I will be saying to them, please, can we not have also in German, because Low Fuel Motorsport are German. Can we have it as an English broadcast? But again, we can also hire our guys who do our Oval League, our Road League on iRacing, Pitstop TV. We can maybe have them in to do the broadcast for us. We'll have to wait and see. But it is stuff we do have plans for in the future. We will have to have a look. So, Joa, what have you missed? Matty Lee, unfortunately, after the pit stop, coming out of Dunlop, was the last of the multiple left rights, putting it into the wall and falling massively back now to to Stephen McCaffrey, who is again closing down on to Joseph Galkov. So Ken Estep letting by our race leader. Bloodwolf, I've seen your message in chat. He said sorry to Ken for obviously that contact when he was losing control. Let's see if those two battles can continue. Wout! Thanks for coming into chat, mate. Shame not to see you out on track today. The Alpine does work really nice at this track. Obviously, I know with your timetables and that can be a bit tight to get here, if not sometimes near enough, well, completely impossible. But it's good to see you here. Yeah, exactly, you had work to 9 EU time, so 9 EU is 8 PM UK time, so it's literally, as he finished, it will be timed like he needs to be in the car. You need to gain 11 seconds, Heiko, and I believe he can do it. He's in the traffic of the back two markers now. But Bloodwolf has done endurance races. He's used to race for me in DKR. So he knows the multi-class rules of, he doesn't have to get out of the way, but do not fight that faster paced car. So knowing Bloodwolf now, as he knows it's the leader, he will be letting him past. You will be here next week. If you are here, make sure you have the British GT pack, as we are heading to Snetterton for the next round. But guys, we've had 4 votes in and it's now a tie in the poll. We're at the halfway mark in the championship. Who is going to take the championship? Is it going to be Celine Witcher? Is it going to be Heiko? Or is it going to be an outsider? Don't forget, Celine is currently on 4 wins. Heiko is on 1 win and quite a bit back in the points. It's 25 points for a race win. So, we'll have to see. Stephen McCaffrey here looks like he's fallen back now from Joseph Galkov. I only like the straight S, but I hate every corner there. Yep. Snetterton is going to be a very technical track to drive. That's why it's in there as one of our more technical tracks for the season. But I will have a quick look at what the rest of the season holds for our drivers. So, as we said, currently at round 6 here at Suzuka. Round 7 will be Snetterton. Round 8 will be Circuit of the Americas. So, kind of another technical track, but again, high-speed track. Then we head to the home of speed. Then we'll be heading to Monza for round 9. Round 10 will be Nürburgring. Round 11 will be Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And then round 12 on the 25th of November will be our final round, round 12, at the wonderful and very, again, it's another technical track, but it's a good track, and that is Kailami. So, as I said, over the halfway mark now. We'll have to see how we get on for the rest of the season, but it is going to be a very interesting one at that. So, 16 minutes remaining. Heiko, a 25-second lead. Joe has a bet that he needs to get it into the 30s. Jaroslav Galkov falling back from Celine. Stephen McCaffrey, he's holding on, but again, he's falling backwards now a little bit. Natalie Lee, she was literally in this fight. Unfortunately, with that front end hitting that wall, I think she's took herself nearly enough out of this race. Cal L there in 6th. He started in pit lane. So he's now back up into his original position that he took the grid. But he did not press driving time, so he actually started from pit lane in this race. Alex Lafros and Ken Estep, they had a little coming together when Alex got past Ken, and then unfortunately had a little slide, what then caught Ken Estep in the rear wheel, what then put Ken into a spin and put Ken into the wall. But Alex, being the gentleman that he is, waited up for Ken and said, no, I am not gaining any position from this. It was my mistake. I'm going to sit here and wait for the battle. And now they're having a battle again after the pit stops. But this is our battle for third position. Jaroslav Galkov holding off Stephen McCaffrey. These two have had a tangle now for the last couple of races. Definitely both of them get their elbows out and having a little bit of a bumping around in the corners. And wow, I agree, Kyalami, very nice track. I do enjoy racing there. Not last weekend, but the weekend before I was part of a 24-hour team for that race. It was a fun race, it wasn't meaning anything, but it's still a 24-hour race. We actually ended up starting from the pit lane from, again, having that drive start issue. And we ended up winning the whole race by 1 lap and 2 seconds. But then we also did the low fuel motorsport GT, again, as I said, like our charity race, it was a GT3, GT4, Porsche Cup cars and TCX car. 24 hours of Spa. That was an interesting race. Proves the concept works. This was hosted by Low Fuel Motorsport. I came home 3rd place in the Porsche GT4 category with my team. So that was a good one. So Kyalami is definitely deep in my heart, but so is Spa. And then there's 2 more big Spa 24 hours coming up. But at the moment, who cares about what's going on elsewhere? Stephen McCaffrey, 0.2 of a second behind Jaroslav Galkov. Knowing Jaroslav's going to hold that inside line for the hairpin, I would want to go wider and then get all the run out of the corner to coming along here to coming up towards Spoon Curve for the more overall result. As we look from Jaroslav Galkov's car, we're going to actually look over from Stephen McCaffrey's car here. So we look from the front splitter. I wish you would tell me what cameras you have when you do select them in the long run on this system. Who will go off track first? Well, we'll have to wait and see about that one, but the way these two are going, it could be both at the exact same time when they hit each other door on door. But again, at least we do have a battle coming up to the checker flag. Stephen McCaffrey really showing that GT4, I think, is more his style racing than any other. He does say he likes the Porsche Cup cars, but I think GT4 is definitely his cup of tea. As he is all over the back of Jaroslav Galkov. Another person I would say GT4 is more suited to his style of driving over the GT3s. I do apologise for the TV camera selections that it automatically does, as it snaps us away there to Natalie for some reason. Don't know why. Natalie's 18 seconds back and has a 24-second lead to Cal. As we look from the helmet here, I'll see McCaffrey. Diving. Does he push it back in? No, he sticks it out. But here we go. This is going to be the battle. 10 minutes remaining. Stephen now looking for the outside. Pushes Jaroslav deep. This could be the run. Stephen getting a little bit loose though. Not what we wanted. It's going to hemorrhage time, but we see in front the back markers of Ken Estep and Alex Lafros. Again, can those two play excuse me, into the battle between third and fourth? Third and fourth will be expected to use their headlights just to give them, the guys in front, a little warning that the faster cars are approaching. Stephen literally putting his nose side to side to Jaroslav's rear bumper there. So I'm going to leave this pole now. We're at equal points. So 50-50 between Celine and Heiko. But guys, I'm not going to put a poll up for this one because I can only give 4 options. But who has been your driver of the day? Put it in a message in the chat and let me know who you think has been driver of the day. It could be from battles, it could be just from Heiko Schumann, now 32.4 seconds ahead, just pulling away. Let us know in the chat. So we're instantly saying Heiko. So I want to say it's one of these two, Jaroslav Galkov or Stephen McCaffrey, but I would say Stephen McCaffrey because the few things that have caused him time and that he's fought back every tooth and nail from being slower in the pit stops to then pulling back the time to them and then being in a battle yet again. But again, it's your votes, guys. So I'm not, like I said, not doing a poll. Put it in the chat like Joe has. Who do you think is driver of the day? Sun's starting to set here slowly at Suzuka, so some of the corners, as they're coming up now, the sun will be coming up into the driver's eyes. So it can be a bit distracting. But it's Stephen McCaffrey now holding back, just waiting to be able to pounce from the traffic. Ooh, very close there between these two and Ken. Almost your 35-second gap. Well, he's still got 6 minutes, and on lap time alone, he should do it next lap. Heiko's last lap a 2:13.3. Celine a 2:15.4. Heiko's last lap was 1/10 faster than Celine's fastest lap of the race. Look at them! Oh, Budgie getting into the back of Jarostov! And Ken having to take avoided action. Jarostov flashes like that. He was not happy about that. We will have to have another look. So was Budgie expecting him to get back on the power? Yeah, he was expecting him to get back on the power at that point. He should have been back on power by this moment in time. So Budgie did let him back pass through. But for in general, we have to give that a penalty. So it will be a 5-second penalty to Budgie from that contact. And we'll have to go into game chat. So I do apologise if it does start lagging. As we said, we will be doing penalties in game. So you can't see it on our screens, but you just see me put it into the chat. Budgie now has a 5-second time penalty. It would have been 10 seconds if he did not give that position. Alex Lafros there, just staying out the way, not wanting to get involved. But there you go, Joe. You do have your gap to Heiko now, 36.3 seconds. So Stephen McCaffrey now has to make a pass on Jaroslav and gain time. Joe, you say you win? No, Heiko wins. He's the one on track racing. But from a very chaotic start here for Celine. Starting P4 on the grid. Currently P2 and just now having a steady race. 17-second gaps back to Jaroslav. But those two are again still all over each other. Jaroslav now having very heavy front end damage. That hood is wide open. That McLaren will not want to turn into a corner for any reason now. Also something, guys, if you are going to run GT America and GT Europe next season, your window banner will be the white Fanatec window banner, not the black version. That's so we can indicate that you are in both championships. So everyone who is just in GT Europe will have a black banner. Anyone who's in GT America will have a black banner. If you're running in both, you will have the white banner to stand out. So we can look at you and turn around and say, you're a tryhard. We're doing 2 big races, 6 hours spread from each other. And at the start of the session times, by the way, 6 hours. Budgie now being a little bit more cautious. I don't blame him, doesn't want to cause another issue. Especially with Natalie Lee, 7.7 seconds back. 7.7 seconds back. This could put Natalie in that potential. If she can crawl into that 5-second range of Stephen, she will take that position from him. Budgie! More contact. Budgie, now I think he's going to park it. And he has. Budgie has parked his car. He's getting too aggressive, too wound up in himself with 1 lap to go. He had only had a lap and a half left to go in this race. So he has given up his would have been a 5th place finish. Now he's going to put himself in 8 if he needs to stay in the server. Otherwise, the game will not register that he was in the race, and he will get no points from this race. Budgie, all I can say is, buddy, stay in the server though. Don't back out, because otherwise the game will not calculate points for you. Okay? He is allowed to be defensive. He is allowed to try to hold his position as much as he wants. I will have a look back at the telemetry. I will save the full replay, so I will look at the telemetry from inputs as well. So I will have a look, and I will make a post about it in the chat. So, coming across the line to take his 2nd win of the season, nearly 40 seconds up from Celine, which it will be Heiko Schumann. So congratulations on Heiko taking the win. Very, very big gap for him. So Celine Richard will come home in 3rd place. 2nd place, sorry. For Celine. As we hear Heiko doing donuts somewhere. So Celine Richard comes home in 2nd. Natalie Lee getting past Jaroslav. Jaroslav going even more slow now. So Natalie Lee will take 3rd place. Joseph Galkov is showing that he is going slow, but he does have now a lot of damage on that front of the car. It's going to make his car not want to turn into any corner. It's going to make him slow naturally. So Joseph Galkov will come home in 4th place. Yeah, definitely a lot of damage on the front of his car. As Cal has spun it all on his Todd, coming out of the Casco chicane for the final time. So he'll bring the car home in 5th place. So he'll gain himself some good points from today. But guys, that will be the end of today's race. Just wait for the timer to kick out now. So we'll head over to our track overlay. So another absolutely chaotic race. Some good battles, some unfortunate instances that did happen. We then will be going into a full review of those. Make sure that mind games and silly buggers are played. They will be penalised. So we will have a look back at those to make sure none of that has happened, so we can keep the racing clean and fair between everyone. But guys, thank you for joining us. We'll be back next week for round 7 at Snetterton, so We will see you then, and thank you for joining.